Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. I'm here today for one main reason, to say thank you to the incredible people of Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you. This is the first time the Republican Party has won the state of Pennsylvania in almost 30 years. We made history together. You propelled to victory a grassroots movement, the likes of which the world has never, ever seen. It's true, true. Your drive, your dedication, and your love for your country pushed us across the finish line. And boy, did we get across that line, right? The patriots in this arena tonight stood up for themselves and for their families and showed the whole world that the American people still run our country. I will never forget you, and I will never, ever stop fighting for you. I will never, ever let you down, believe me. What a state. What a state. Well, I went to school in Pennsylvania, right? So let me take a moment now to recognize your great congressmen in attendance tonight. They were with me from the beginning. Lou Barletta. Where's Lou? Where are they? Tom Marino. And Tim Murphy. And I just see in the audience, I didn't know he was here, Jeffrey Lord. Oh, he fights so hard. Oh, that Jeffrey. It's so unfair. They stack up 7-1, but he handles it. CNN, they stack it up against him. They stack it. They are not happy with the results of this election, and it was a stampede. Uh-oh, their camera just went off, folks. Jeffrey, their camera just went off. I also want to give a very special thank you to the men and women of the United States military. Incredible people. We are in your debt, and we will never let you down. As part of our commitment to those who serve, we're going to rebuild our badly depleted military, and we are going to finally take care of our great veterans. We're going to take care of them. Believe me. Our defense policy can be summed up in 3 very important words: peace through strength. And we're going to get the military going, folks. And we are going to negotiate tougher deals. Do we agree? Where we get more equipment for less money. For instance, you saw the other day about an airplane. Now, I have a nice airplane. But this plane is going to cost $4.2 billion. Air Force One. I don't want a plane to fly around in that costs $4.2 billion, believe me. 4.2. Not going to happen. But we're going to work with Boeing, and I didn't order it, please remember this. But we're going to work with Boeing. We're going to cut the price way down. Way, way down. And how about the F-35 fighter? It's a disaster. It's totally out of control. Totally out of control. So we're going to get more equipment for our military, and we're going to get better equipment for our military, at a smaller price. Does that make sense, okay? Believe me. We're also going to stop trying to build new nations in far-off lands, many areas you've never even heard of these places. Okay? We're going to stop. We're going to be so strong. We're going to be so respected. We're going to be so powerful. We're not respected now. And believe me, it's going to turn. And we're going to have this great, incredible, powerful military. But you know what? I don't think we're ever going to have to use it. And that would be very, very nice. It's America first. Be very, very nice. Instead, thank you. Instead, my administration will focus squarely on the vital national security interests of the United States. And that means crushing ISIS and defeating radical Islamic terrorism. We're going to defeat it quickly. But to be a strong nation, we must also be a wealthy or a rich nation. Some people say, Mr. Trump. Now they say, Mr. President-elect. Can you believe it? Can you believe this? Just call me Donald, folks. Just call me Donald. But they say, Mr. President-elect, it doesn't sound good when you say rich nation. I say we have to be a rich nation if we're going to rebuild our military. If we're going to build the wall, we have to be a rich nation. If we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, we have to know what we're doing. And we have to be a wealthy nation again. Whether it's building cars, producing steel, or curing disease, we want the next generation of innovation and production to happen right here in America, and right here in the great state of Pennsylvania. And I have to tell you about Pennsylvania. So, you know, they were all saying, you just don't win Pennsylvania. Everybody thought for years and years that they were going to win Pennsylvania as a Republican. They call it the bride that got away, right? This is such an important state, and they were saying he won't win it. He's down in the polls. And I didn't understand it because all of these gentlemen back here, and these are tremendous people that love you, your congressman, they were saying every yard in Pennsylvania has a Trump-Pence sign, right? And we'd go to rallies, like, look at the size of this place. Every corner is packed. Now, the press won't say it. Hey, press, turn the cameras. Show them, please. Show them. Show them. World's most dishonest people. These are dishonest people. Are any cameras? No, they're not turning. Look, they never turn. They never turn. What a shame. Very dishonest people. Very, very dishonest people. You know, the only way you know how crowd, like you take a look at this crowd, right? The only way people sitting at home know is by the sound. By the sound. True. True. That is not the sound of 500 or 1,000 people, folks. And outside it's freezing, and we have 8,000 people standing out there listening. So, but Pennsylvania is an amazing place. And I've been hearing, and I don't know if you want me, because I know you've been listening. You know, what we're doing is a thank you tour. Thank you, Ohio. Thank you, Iowa. Thank you to the different places where we won, swing states mostly, but different places that we won. And by the way, we won in a landslide. This was a landslide victory. This was a landslide. And So we went to Michigan. How about Michigan and Wisconsin? How good was that? That was on top of everything. And you know, they didn't want to call Pennsylvania. You saw that, right? Remember? It was stuck at 99% all night long. And if I lost 100% of the remaining votes, I would have won by a lot of votes. But it was stuck for hours and hours. Now, I don't know if they did that because they were so devastated at what was happening, or because they wanted to keep it going because they were making it. You hear the audience they had? The audience was record-setting, and I think they wanted maybe to prolong the evening for commercial sake, right? But it's one of those two reasons. Maybe it's both. But I will tell you, and I've been going, and I've been saying this. I said it the other night in Wisconsin. And if you want, I'll give you a little recap of the night. Should I or not? No, are you sure? Okay. And we'll make this recap pertain to Pennsylvania, right? We don't have to talk about the other ones, but it is true. So I've been hearing for a long time that everybody leaves Pennsylvania thinking they won, Republicans. And again, almost 30 years, and every time they lose by a lot. So I thought we were going to win. These three characters were saying, don't worry about it, Mr. Trump. You're going to win. I'll tell you, Marino, he said, I've been doing this for a long time, Mr. Trump. I guarantee you victory. I said, write it down. He said, nope, I'm not doing that. Okay. I wanted a guarantee. But right from the beginning, they were with me. But they felt so sure. The only problem was, I kept hearing all these things that nobody ever wins, even though they think Pennsylvania. So what happens is the evening begins, and Ohio, what a great place. I had a little problem. You know, it's pretty hard to win states when you don't have the governor, right? Pretty hard. Pretty hard. But you know what? He's called. Would have been nice if he called a couple of weeks earlier. He called. He's been very nice. But we were supposed to win Ohio by 2 points, maybe 3 points. We won it by almost 10 points, right? So that was good. And you know, we got those bad exit polls. You know, they were phony polls, okay? What they don't know is what's the purpose of them doing phony polls when you're going to know the real answer in 3 hours? What are they doing? They can't help themselves, right? So we got these bad exit polls. We really thought, based on the exit polls, it was going to be a very short evening, meaning bad. And Jared, who's here, and Ivanka, they called and they said, Dad, and you got to understand, I got home from Michigan at 4 in the morning. I made a speech in Michigan where I started speaking at 12:30 in the evening. That means on Election Day. That was my 7th speech of the day. 7. And the crowds are all like this. And you know the beauty about a crowd like this? This place is packed. But there's a difference between before the election and after the election, right? Before the election, you people are like wild beasts, wild animals. We're going to win, Mr. Trump. We're going to win. They're screaming, jail, jail, prison. We're going to win. Right? Right? They're going crazy. No. They're screaming, we want the wall, build the wall, Mr. Trump. And we're going to build the wall, don't worry about it. Okay. But it is true. There's a big, I was telling somebody backstage, and now the crowds are amazing. And you know, it's hard to get a big crowd after an election. If somebody else, a normal person, came after an election, even after a victory, you'd have 15 people. People would say, we had enough, we're not going. And this place is packed. This is a big stadium, by the way. But there's something different about a crowd before the election, like when I was here a few weeks ago, and after the election. Before the election, they are brutal. They are so crazed. You're like crazed people, and that's good. I like that. And now, now you're laid back. Hey, baby. Hey, onward, Mr. Trump, onward. Right? No, it's great. It's beautiful. In other words, you've won, and you feel great about it, and you don't have to go totally wild, right? It's much different. Oh, it's much different. It's different. No, it's much different. You're laid back, and that's good. This is not really exactly laid back, but it's pretty laid. So we had to win Pennsylvania, but it started off with Ohio, big, big victory. And the one I like to tell is Texas, Georgia, and Utah, right? Because they started off about 2 months before the election. Now, you just don't lose Texas as a Republican, right? You don't lose. And you don't lose Georgia, and you don't lose Utah. I don't think Utah's ever been. Jeffrey, has Utah ever been lost? Just keep saying what you say. You know what he says? He's like Ronald Reagan. That's all he has to say. It's good. Donald Trump is like Ronald Reagan. We love you, Jeffrey. This guy takes such abuse on CNN. Do we love him? I hope he's getting paid a lot of money because he deserves it, believe me. But it's sort of incredible. But what happened is they're saying Texas is in play. Texas is in play, right? Is that Texas? I said, Texas has never been in play. And then I go to Texas, I make a speech, and we have an arena that's bigger than this one. It's packed, 10,000 people outside. And I say, how can it possibly be in play? But you saw it, right? So they say, Texas is in play. Then they say, Georgia. Now, Georgia was supposed to win by a lot. And they have me even, right? And then they say Utah. And in Utah, they have this character. I never saw a guy like this. No, I never saw a guy like this. This guy was, like, horrible. And they said, the third-party candidate looks like he's got Trump in trouble. And my wife looks at him and says, you're not going to lose. She knows more than these dishonest people. And they knew it. They knew it. They knew it. So what happens, you know what happened, because you watch it. They had a record audience, the biggest they've ever had. And it opens. The polls open. And now they're closed. And now they go on live all over the country, really all over the world. And the first thing they do, Texas has gone to Donald Trump. I said, what happened? I thought I was... And they always started off with, we have breaking news, right? We have breaking news, like, you know, about 12 seconds after the show up. This is a state that I was supposed to be, like, go late in the night. We have breaking news. Texas has gone to Donald Trump. I said, man, that's good, because I'm a little worried, you know. That's why nobody believes these people. Then about 12 seconds later, we have breaking news. Georgia has gone to Donald Trump. Right? Then again, now, my state of Utah, I love Utah. And I couldn't believe that I was tied with this guy. This guy. Nobody ever heard of him. Nobody. And he was saying, if he wins Utah, he thinks he can win the whole thing. I don't understand what we... I'll tell you, what he could have done is if he won Utah, except that we won by so much, he could have stopped us from appointing Supreme Court judges. That's what he could have done, all right? Bad, sort of a bad guy. So I watch this guy, and I hear that basically I'm tied in Utah. And the third one, they go, we have breaking news. Utah has gone to Donald Trump. Thank you. Oh. I would have lost Utah. So now I have these three that are like solidly, I mean, we won by Utah. Did you see how many points I won by Utah? This thing wasn't even close, like massive, right? He said huge. They were all huge. Okay, then they go to Ohio. Then they go to Iowa, where I just appointed the great governor of Iowa, Terry Branstad, the longest-serving governor in our country's history, 24 years almost, to the ambassador to China. He loves China. That's nice. He loves China. In fact, whenever I speak in Iowa, he goes, this is for years. Donald, would you do me a favor? Please don't say anything bad about China. So what? And I didn't, but I just appointed him ambassador to China. He's going to be an amazing representative. He likes them, and they like him. They like him a lot, and he likes them a lot. So now we start talking, Greg, because I was expected to win Ohio, but not by nearly as much. I was expected to win Iowa, but not by over 10 points. Nobody wins Iowa. So this is like a good story, because when my kids told me about the exit polls, which were nonsense, I sort of thought in my mind, well, I can't work any harder, so I don't feel that bad. I still felt bad. Don't worry about it. Until the real polls opened up, right? So then we go down to Florida, and we start. And we're sort of leading, and we're leading, and we're leading, and we haven't even gotten to our area, and boy, do we love the Panhandle, right? And we're leading a little bit, just a little bit. And then they go on the air, the opponents. We will win the state of Florida. The guy said, some guy, I'd never even heard of this guy. He said, we will win the state of Florida. And I said, wait a minute, I'm leading by a little bit, and my voters haven't even been caught on yet, right? He knows what I'm talking about. So all of a sudden, they have another consultant come out. They probably paid this guy $15 million for destroying her campaign, right? These consultants are the worst. By the way, you know, in the old days, if you spend less money and win, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. That's a good thing. I spent much less money. We spent a fraction of the money and won. You know, I'd have these guys saying, Hillary Clinton has spent much more money than Donald Trump. And when I say much more, I'm talking seriously. And then they say much more money than Donald Trump. And Mr. Trump is ahead by 1 point, but he hasn't spent enough money. I'm saying they're scolding me. I've spent less money and I'm ahead. No, remember this for the kids in the audience. If you can spend less money and win, that's a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay. Good. So we go to Florida, and all of our people are out saying how they're going to win Florida. And they're saying, we have no doubt. One guy said, we have no doubt we're going to win the state of Florida. And then there was a story about all the buses, you know, because they had this unlimited money, and they had buses lined up all over Florida. And you know who used the buses? My people. They got into the buses, and they said, go ahead. And they were all people with the red hat, make America great again. So, because the bus driver doesn't care. He just wants to know, are the seats all full? Yeah, let's go. Well, they don't care. Thank you for those buses. So they're going to win Florida, according to her pundits and her geniuses and her pollsters. We have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the great state of Florida by a lot. Then the same pundits get on. And I could tell you, because I had a great conversation with President Obama. And I said to him, no. Although this foolish guy, Josh Earnest, I don't know if he's talking to President Obama. You know, having the right press secretary is so important, because he is so bad, the way he delivers a message. He can deliver a positive message, and it sounds bad. He could say, ladies and gentlemen, today we have totally defeated ISIS, and it wouldn't sound good, okay? All right? I have a feeling they won't be saying it, but I know we will be saying it. But the president's very positive, but he's not positive. And I mean, maybe he's getting his orders from somebody else. Does that make sense? Could that be possible? But I said, when do you think you lost, we won? And I will say this, look, from everybody's standpoint, when Ohio came out with those huge numbers, when Iowa came out with those huge numbers. And then huge. And then we won Florida. So now the pundits go out again. And they're talking about the great state of North Carolina. We love North Carolina, right? The great state of North Carolina. So they say there's no way. You have to see how much more money they spent than us. Oh, but those buses were comfortable for our people. You have to see how much money they spent in North Carolina. And they said, North Carolina, you got to understand, I've won like everything now, right? I'm just running. South Carolina was great. So I have Texas and Georgia and Iowa and everything. Now we're coming up. And Ohio, big state. And that was the other thing. You cannot win as a Republican unless you win Ohio. Remember that? And then we won Ohio. So it's looking good. Then we won Florida. But North Carolina was our firewall. Remember they said, nope, you can't win North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of North Carolina. And now you see these absolutely terrible, terrible, destructive people. They're getting a little nervous. They're getting a little nervous. John King, nice guy, he's got the map. He's good with the map. But his hand is starting to shake. You know, it's going, oh, my God. Oh, my God, he won. Because remember they said before the election, there is no path to 270 for Donald Trump. Oh, but there's a path to 306, but there's not. So his hand is... So now we win North Carolina. And now we get up to Pennsylvania. We are just doing great in Pennsylvania. In fact, I won it twice, right? I won it twice because I won it. And then we had this scam operation. Let's ask for a recount. We won it again. We won Wisconsin. We won Michigan. No, I love it. I hope somebody else asks for a recount because I love winning. You know, we'll win it 3, 4, 5 times. Actually, they did a full recount in Wisconsin. And I received 138 votes more. Me, I got more votes. Scam. Remember I told you it's a rigged system, right? It's terrible. And not rigged for us, believe me. The other way around. So now we come up to Pennsylvania, and they don't want to put it. But I see we're going to win. In fact, I start doing interviews, because if we win Pennsylvania, it's over, right? So now I'm doing interviews, because it's at 99%, and there aren't enough votes for them to even come close. So people are saying, you can't do interviews now. I said, why not? There's no way. There's no way. So I started doing interviews. I felt very comfortable. They just didn't want to do it. But what happened? Now you watch John King. The hand is shaking, quivering. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has won Wisconsin. Now that wasn't supposed to happen, right? Then he goes, oh, you could see he's like getting ready to throw up all over them. Ladies and gentlemen. Then they go, we have breaking news. And I kept waiting for Pennsylvania. But why wait for Pennsylvania? Because they said, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump has won the state of Michigan. Now they're going, whoa, whoa. Now, Wisconsin hasn't been won for 38 years. Michigan hasn't been won for about that or longer. I mean, it's like crazy. And I love Pennsylvania, but we didn't even need you guys. Isn't that terrible? Because they waited so damn long. They took all of your glory away, right? Rob Gleason did a great job, and David did a great job. Great job. Great job. David and Rob, what a job. So now we win the state of Pennsylvania, and it's over. It was an amazing, I'll tell you what, it was an amazing evening. And the people on ESPN, sports people, they said it was the single greatest event they've ever seen. They've seen football and baseball and boxing, and they said it was the greatest. So I just want to thank the incredible people of Pennsylvania, okay? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Incredible people. Unbelievable people. And in 4 years, we're going to win it by even more. Let's ask you something, all right? By even more. All right. Let's get back on the subject of jobs, right? Because, you know, that's what we're here for. Enough with this stuff. For years, the jobs and wealth have been ripped out of your state and ripped out of our country like we're a bunch of babies. Foreign powers have gotten rich, bleeding America dry because we have people that don't know what they're doing, or worse than that. And our politicians stood by and did absolutely nothing. And that is now all about to end, and it's going to end quickly. The era of economic surrender is over. You, the people of Pennsylvania, are finally going to have a champion that fights for you in the White House. Because from now on, it's going to be America first. Remember that. People talk about how we're living in a globalized world, but the relationships people value most are local. Family, city, state, and country. Local, folks, local. There's no such thing as a global anthem, a global currency, or a global flag. Do we love our flag? Do we love our flag? We salute one flag, and that is the American flag. And we're going to make sure the American flag gets the respect it deserves, all right? You know, when I watch the news at night and I see these punks burning the flag and stomping on it and burning another one and stopping, no good, no good. We're gonna maybe have to do something about that. What do you think, yes? Patriotism will be celebrated in our cities and taught very, very strongly to our children. And that patriotism will be the foundation of our economic plan, bringing jobs back to America. We're bringing our jobs back, folks. They've been ripped away. That's why we're going to lower our business tax. We are going to lower our business tax big league from 35% to 15%. Right now, we're one of the highest taxed nations in the world, and we're going to be among the lowest, and we're going to have jobs come pouring back. We want to bring in new companies and new jobs to our shores. That's also why we're going to eliminate job-killing regulations, cancel many executive orders. Believe me, we're going to be canceling a lot, and lift the restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. And we are going to put our miners back to work, okay? Get ready. Get those shovels ready. Another critical element of our jobs plan is a historic $1 trillion investment in our crumbling infrastructure. Our infrastructure is going to hell. We're going to fix our infrastructure. You know, we've spent, as of 2 weeks ago, $6 trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country 3 times over. And right now, we're in worse shape in the Middle East than we were 15 years ago when we started, by a factor of 10. Our bridges are deficient, our roads are in disrepair, and our airports are like third world countries. I am asking Congress to support the construction of new roads, bridges, airports, tunnels, and railways all across our nation. We're going to do it. And we're going to build it on time, on budget, not for 3 times what it's supposed to cost. And we will put our people back to work in the process. It's time to help get Americans off welfare and back into the labor market. Rebuilding our country with American hands and American workers. We're going to rebuild our country. We're going to do it ourselves, folks. My administration will follow 2 simple rules: buy American and hire American. At the center of this agenda is fixing our absolutely terrible trade deals. I mean, NAFTA, you look at that, it's been defective for 20 years. It's been defective from the day it was signed. It's been defective. Pennsylvania, congratulations, because you're just about at the bottom of the pack in this, has lost more than 1/3 of your manufacturing jobs since NAFTA. Just about as bad as there is in the country. Although I must say, Michigan and a couple of other places have actually done worse. Okay, right? But you're all going to do great now because we're bringing those jobs back. America is now running, listen to this, a nearly $800 billion annual trade deficit. In other words, all these people, they work, they make these trade deals, right? We lose almost $800 billion a year. Who are these people? Any business people in this large audience? You know? Hard to believe. Almost $800 billion a year, and we never make good deals. You know, I actually said to my people today, they're going over Mexico, doesn't work. China is all-time record-setting. We're going to lose $500 billion trade deficit. All of these places, and I said, give me a good deal. You know what they said? There are none. We don't do with anybody. It's almost amazing that our country can even make it, but it's not going to make it for much longer if we don't get this thing going, okay? Now think of it. Think of it. It is so terrible. We've lost, and this one I can't even believe, I say it all the time, we've lost 70,000 factories since China joined the World Trade Organization. Now, I used to say, who signed it? I used to say, who supported it? We don't care anymore, right? You know who I'm talking about, right? I don't care. It's a disaster. It's the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. Nobody's ever lost like we've lost. All because we got sold down the river by our either stupid politicians or corrupt politicians, all right? Except for these 3 guys down here, they're great. They're good. A Trump administration will defend American industry, and it will defend the American worker. You've got to be defended. It will defend the American worker. Boy, did we come out and vote. You know, they forgot about the American voter. They talked about everybody, right? They're going to do this group and that group. And by the way, women, thank you very much. I mean, thank you. Women. Thank you, women. I was getting killed. These polls were killing me, the women. Donald Trump has almost no women. And then I'd come and I'd see these signs. Look at those signs. I'd see these pink, beautiful signs. We did great with women. We did great with the African-American community, so good. Remember the famous line, because I talk about crime, I talk about lack of education, talk about no jobs. And I'd say, what the hell do you have to lose, right? It's true. And they're smart, and they picked up on it like you wouldn't believe. And you know what else? They didn't come out to vote for Hillary. They didn't come out. And that was the big. So thank you to the African-American community. Thank you to the Hispanic community. Incredible. The Hispanic community was great. You know, they all heard the wall. Well, guess what? People that are in our country legally, if they're Hispanic, they don't want people coming in and taking their jobs. They don't want people coming in and taking their homes. They want to see safety. So the Hispanic community was fantastic. And the evangelical Christians, unbelievable. We set records, right? Set records. And I shouldn't say this is terrible, but as a couple of our pastors, Pastor Jeffress, a couple of them, Reverend Graham, you know, how good was Billy Graham? Was he the greatest, right? Well, he's got a son, Franklin. And Franklin Graham would say, and Paula White, and so many others that say, Donald Trump may not be perfect, but he's going to be the best leader by far, right? May not be perfect. They were great. What great people. We set an all-time record in the history of elections in this country with the evangelicals, and that is really cool. And that includes what happened in the primaries. Remember in the primaries, I was going to lose all these different states because of the evangelicals, and then I'd win by 22 points. Like, as an example, South Carolina, like Alabama, like Arkansas, like so many, Kentucky. And they were all saying, wow, Donald Trump is doing fantastically with the evangelical Christians. He's doing fantastically, but I knew. But we did even better in the general election. So we had the all-time highest vote in the history of elections with the evangelicals, right? Our goal is to bring back a very beautiful phrase. Do you remember when we were young, some of us? Some of you are so, you don't remember because you're so young already. We have a young audience. Do you remember we had stamped onto cars and stamped onto equipment, made in the USA, right? Made in the USA, right? Even the young people like it. And frankly, if it said made in Japan or made someplace else, it wasn't considered good. It wasn't considered good. We're going to bring back made in the USA. And we're going to have a lot of jobs come back. We're going to have a lot of jobs. And you know what? If companies leave and fire their workers, they leave Pennsylvania, or they leave Indiana, or they leave any one of the states we're talking about, or any state in the union, they leave and they go to Mexico or some other country, plenty of them, and they think they're going to fire everybody and they're going to have their product come right through those weak borders. Oh, those borders are going to be so strong now. And they're going to sell that product, and that product isn't going to be taxed, probably at a rate of about 35% for the people that live. And here's what's going to happen. You know, the people that write the articles, they say Donald Trump is not a free trader. No, I'm a smart trader. Okay, a smart trader. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to put that tariff on. Company leaves, makes their air conditioner. Carrier was very nice, by the way, I have to tell you. I mean, what they don't know is the people that did go down there, it's going to be a little hard to sell that product back in, but we won't talk about that. But Carrier was fantastic. They really were. And I hope you go out and buy some Carrier air conditioners because they're one of the few that are left in this country. And I told the people at Carrier, you saw all the publicity that got. And we have thousands of people, families, that are going to have great Christmases in Indiana now because of that. But I told them, you're going to make up a lot because you're going to do a lot of business, and a lot of people are feeling very strong about what they did. But it's going to be that they will have consequences when they leave our country and think they're going to sell the product right back over a border, no tax, no nothing. Because you know what? It doesn't work that way for other countries. You look at what China's doing. China taxes our products going into China, big league, and they don't want us anyway. They don't even want the tax. You take a look at other countries. So when they talk about free trade, it's free for them, but it's not free for us, all right? Not free for us. So that's the way it is. But we have to be a rich nation again. And we have to be a safe nation. The murder rate in the United States is the largest that it's been in 45 years. Nobody knows that. They don't tell you that. Do you guys ever say that? No, they don't say that. They don't want to hear it. And we are going to support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. And we are going to bring this terrible crime wave to an immediate end, and it can go quickly. One of the greatest public safety threats remains open borders. I always say, there goes your safety, there goes your country. We will build a great, great wall, and we will put an end to illegal immigration. And we are going to stop the drugs from pouring into our country and poisoning the youth of Pennsylvania and every other state. We're going to stop it. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. We have to. You know, the Border Patrol, you know this, 16,500 great people, because their job is much tougher when I win, because we're going to enforce the laws. They want to enforce. They endorsed me. First time they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. ICE. The men and women of ICE. They're smart. They're tough. They love the country. They endorsed us. It's not me, it's us. First time they've ever endorsed. What does it mean? It means you have to work harder. But these are people that know what they're doing. We're going to break up the gangs. We're going to break up the cartels and the criminal syndicates terrorizing our cities and our neighborhoods. And they're being terrorized. Just take a look on Long Island, New York, and you take a look at what's happening out there. It is really bad. And our local police know exactly who they are and want to do something about it. And they're being stopped. So we're going to work on that. We're going to get a safe country to protect our country from terrorism and extremism. I will suspend immigration and refugee admissions from regions where they cannot be safely processed or vetted. We will keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. We're going to keep them out. We got enough problems. We got enough problems, right? We got to bring our jobs back. We don't want problems. And we'll build safe zones in Syria. When I look at what's going on in Syria, it's so sad. It's so sad, and we've got to help people. And we have the Gulf states. They have nothing but money. We don't have money. We owe $20 trillion. I will get the Gulf states to give us lots of money, and we'll build and help build safe zones in Syria so people can have a chance. So they can have a chance. Ethics reform will be a crucial part of our plan as well. We're going to drain the swamp of corruption in Washington, D.C. Right? I will impose a 5-year ban on executive branch officials becoming lobbyists and a lifetime ban on officials becoming lobbyists for a foreign government. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to ban. When we have our purchasing agents giving out billions and billions and billions of dollars of contracts to the military and to all of these people where they're buying airplanes, where you see these tremendous cost overruns. Take a look at the F-35 program. Take a look. And the people that gave out those contracts, give me a break. We're going to impose a lifetime ban on people that give these massive contracts out, or even small contracts. You want to work for the United States, you work for the United States. You're not going to go to work for the people that build these planes and people that do the drugs with all of the different things. You know, the cost of drugs in this country, we're about the largest purchaser of pharmaceuticals anywhere in the world. And yet we can't negotiate the price. I wonder why. You don't think it has anything to do with the drug companies. Well, we're going to open it up. We're going to face many challenges. But this is truly an exciting time to be alive. The script is not yet written. We do not know what the page will read tomorrow. But for the first time in a long, long time, what we do know is that the pages will be authored by each and every one of you and you. You, the American people, will finally be in charge again. Your voice, your desires, your hopes, and your aspirations will never again fall on deaf ears. The forgotten men and women of our country will not be forgotten anymore. Remember that. You sure as hell weren't forgotten on Election Day, were you, huh? Did you hear some of them were saying, where are all these people coming from? Together we will raise incomes and create millions and millions of great new jobs. We will repeal the disaster known as Obamacare and create new health care reforms that work for you and your family. We will reestablish the rule of law, defend the Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, and appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. We will heal our divisions and unify our country. We will be a unified country again. When Americans are unified, there is nothing we cannot do. No task is too great. No dream too large. No goal beyond our reach. My message tonight is for all Americans, from all parties, all beliefs, all walks of life. Whether you are African American, Hispanic American, or Asian American, or whatever the hell you are, remember that we are all Americans, and we are all united by one shared destiny. So I'm asking everyone, to join this incredible movement, and that's what it is. All over the world, they're talking about what's happening here, all over the world. Pundits have said, and I mean pundits that truly dislike Donald Trump, have said this is the single greatest political phenomenon that they've ever seen. And it's about you, it's not about me, it's about you. I am asking you to dream big and bold and daring things for your family and for your country. I am asking you to believe in yourself again, and I'm asking you to believe in America. And if we do that, then all together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again.